Hello class, this is Kelvin Gott again. I hope everybody's enjoying this public speaking class that we're going through. Today I'm going to talk to you about one of my favorite points that have happened to me. I'll talk to you about visits that I did with the Seahawks at their training camp. And throughout the course of this story, I'll be telling you about how the trip came about, how we got to go and visit several of the players, actually the majority of the players, the 2007 Seahawks at their training facility in Washington, and how we went on a tour and some of the different souvenirs that several of us received while we were there. Unfortunately, I don't have any of the souvenirs here to show you as I guess examples or actually proof of this event. But I do have a lot of memories from that day that we spent there, so I'm going to share those with you. First of all, back in 2007, I was on a tour in Iraq, and at the end of that tour, we decided to fly the 12th Man flag over the facility in which we guarded while we were in Iraq. And we sent that picture back to the 2007 Seahawks main office. And we didn't expect it at the time. We just expected it to get posted on their website, 12thman.com. And, we would get some publicity from the fact that our unit flew the 12th man flag over Iraq while we were in theater. And that would get posted on the site. And then, we'd be able to enjoy the fact that, hey, our picture's on the website. But throughout the course of this, we sent it in. And one of the guys that was deployed with me by the name of Sergeant First Class Daniel Ogas, he was a season ticket holder to the Seahawks prior to us deploying. And while we were on the deployment, he remained in contact with the ticket office there and basically had his season tickets put on hold for a year while he was deployed. And then he decided to get a hold of them and let them know we were coming back, that we sent the picture of the 12th man flying in Iraq. We sent it back. And so they invited us to come down and actually go on a tour of the facility. That's how the tour came about. But when we got there, there was a group of about 15 of us who actually got to go and participate in this. And we got to go in. We got a full tour of the training facility. Got to go out on the football field, the practice field, and actually we got to go into the indoor training facility as well. Got to see the weight room, their locker room, their offices, some of the trophies that they had received or earned throughout the course of the franchise history, and so on. Um, the fact that we were there, we got there in the morning. We went on a tour. We met at the time Mike Holmgren, who was the head coach of the Seattle Seahawks. We met him just before practice began, and then they went out and they started going through their drills throughout their daily drills while we were going on a tour inside the facility. And once we completed the tour, we got to go out and join them on their practice field, and while we stood on the sidelines while they practiced, of course. And then at the end of practice, we actually got to do a meet and greet. Um, the entire 2007 Seahawks were there with different people like Sean Alexander, Matt Hasselbeck, Josh Brown, Julius Peppers, Nate Burleson, and a few others that I can't recall off the top of my head, but I did manage to get a autographed football while we were there at the practice. And what was really memorable about it is that each one of us received a coin, a 12 man coin, based off of the fact that the Seahawks gave it to each one of our members who went on the tour, and then we in turn had given the Seahawks owner and Mike Holmgren one of our battalion or unit coins, presented to them as well. Didn't We had no idea that they had the 12 man coins available, but each one of us that went on the tour actually got to receive one of those coins and take it home as a souvenir. One of the other things that we got to do, several of us got to, I guess, play around with a few of the Seahawks. We got to receive a couple of passes and laugh and joke around with a bunch of guys. But one of the most memorable things about that entire tour for me was the fact that Matt Hasselbeck had threw a couple of passes to a couple of guys, and they kind of were laughing and joking about none of the soldiers could be athletic enough to compete or be in the NFL. And at that point, I had to step up and represent for us military folk. And I was in uniform, boots and my full uniform. And Matt Hasselbeck just said, go out and go for a pass, just do a 10 man, slant route or whatever. So I get there, I snap the ball, I take off, and I'm just going at a nice little jog, and he throws the ball about 40, 50 yards down the field, and and I'm just take off at a dead sprint, and I actually managed to actually get there and catch it just before the ball hit the ground and stayed on my feet. And there was a big roar from all the different players. That felt kind of good to have NFL players cheering me, somebody who's not in the NFL, to catch a pass from Matt Hasselbeck. But the really cool thing about that was I didn't realize at the time that it was being videotaped and it was being posted on 12man.com. I found out about 2 weeks later that pass from Matt Hasselbeck that he threw to me was actually on there, and it was put up as U.S. military visits the Seattle Seahawks, and then that pass went off, and I actually managed to catch it before it hit the ground, and I thought that was really good, and in the way that I represented that we did have some people with some athletic ability in the military. Um, and some of the other souvenirs that I got besides the football and the coin was I have a 12th man flag that's signed by I'd say 50% of the football team at least. I don't know exactly how many members were there, but I have a 12-man flag, full size, a 6 by 12 12-man flag that's signed by the 2007 Seahawks, the majority of the team players that were there. And I got to take with me. I also got a pair of practice NFL gloves from Nate Burleson, and I got an autographed signed jersey from Sean Alexander. So that was really cool. And I got to take all those things home with me, and I still have them to this day. Now, I am not a huge Seattle Seahawks fan, but I am a fan of what that team represents and their support of the community and the military. But and that wraps up, my tour of the Seahawks and the tour in the facility and the meet and greet with the players and some of the souvenirs that I received while at that training camp facility. And I'm really grateful that the Seahawks were gracious enough to allow us to come and visit their training camp and take a day and actually give back to the military. That's all I've got for this week's submission for week 2. Hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you.